That's right, this is 7 reasons why I bought a van. Hi guys, well, I'm back again with 7 more things. In case you're new to the channel, I like to do 7 reasons for certain things that happen in a nomad lifestyle. And I would do 10 or more, but they take way too long because it takes me a while to get through 7. Also, it gives me an opportunity to possibly go back and revisit the same subject if need be. And also, if there's things that I might not have covered, people will often put them in the comments. So that would be fodder for another video another time. Okay, so let's get right into it. This is 7 reasons why I bought a van. And number 1 is pretty important. Yes, in the nomad world, size does matter. My van is the perfect size for me because it does fit in every parking spot in most places. And also it has enough room to be pretty comfortable. I can still do most of my exercises in here on a rainy day if I need to. I have a lot of room to move around and stand up and cook and things like that. So the size of this van was great. Now, I would have been able to even do a better RV conversion in something that was like an extended van, because I would have gotten like 2 or 3 extra feet. And then, you know, I would have had all that extra space. But this van does do very well for the size it is. And because, you know, I'm a woman, I'm not that big, so I can sleep crossways. So that saves a lot of space as well. But yeah, the size really is an issue, especially where I live, because there's a lot of small, skinny streets and also a lot of places that I camp. I do go out of town up into the backcountry, and there are a lot of places that RVs just can't go because they're too big. Or if I need to city camp, I can come back down here into town and pretty much blend in and park pretty much anywhere, even though my van is, well, it's weird looking, but it still fits in a lot more places than an RV would. Number 2, I like vans. I think that they're awesome looking. I've always had a soft spot for vans. I've always thought that they were really cool, especially the older vans, you know, early 2000s on back. I just think that they are just very beautiful the way they were designed. They're very aerodynamic and they have a lot of curves to them, and they're just very nice looking. That's not to say that there aren't some newer vans that are okay looking too, and they do have a lot of nice features to them, but they're just not exactly my favorite. So but yeah, as far as aesthetics go, I do think that vans are very nice looking, and that's one of the reasons why I bought them. And they're just, like I say, they're just cool. It's always neat to pull up in a camp spot with a van. You know, you're like the cool kid on the block when you come into any place. As far as I'm concerned, I always feel like the coolest person in the parking lot because I got the van. So there you go. I don't know what it is, but that's just my feeling about it. And I like being able to like look across where I've parked, you know, from where I've parked, and see my van, and it just makes me smile. You know, it's just, I like that. That's what I want to live in. I want to live in something that's going to make me smile when I look at it from the outside as well as the inside. And people like it. They wave at me and they honk. They don't even know who I am. And even if my van didn't have a horrible paint job and look like a cow, I'm pretty sure that they would say, hey, look at that cool camper van, and still want to wave and honk. So yeah, no, I just think vans are cool. And that's one of the reasons why I've got one. Okay. Also, number 3, I wanted to build my own rig. That was very important. It was easier to just start with an empty van than try to get an old RV and remodel it to the way I wanted it. I wanted my own layout. I wanted my own systems. I wanted it to be simple and just functional and, you know, homey looking. I didn't want it to look like some utilitarian thing. I didn't want it to look like an RV. I wanted it to look like whatever I wanted it to be, like shabby chic or whatever. It doesn't matter. I just wanted it to be something that would suit me better and custom made for me. And it just made more sense to buy something that was empty and start from scratch. Okay. Vans blend in better in the city. Now, I've mentioned this before already. They blend in better anywhere. People are more used to seeing a van in their neighborhood than they are some big old RV that wasn't there before. If I have to go visit somebody, or if for whatever reason I have to go park in a residential neighborhood for a night because I can't find any place else, it's way easier to do in a van than an RV. I've had experience in both, and RV, no matter whether it's nice or not, just screams there's somebody camping in there. Whereas a van, unless you really know what to look for, a lot of times people aren't sure. So I just like sometimes, not necessarily to be stealth, but I do like to be able to blend in a lot better. And also, I might be less of a target for, vandalism or whatever. So I like the blending in factor that a van can offer. Let's see. Vans have much better gas mileage than any RV. The only exception to that rule are these RVs that they don't make anymore, which were Toyota Chinooks. They put them on the back of these little tiny 4-cylinder Toyota pickup trucks, and they got, upwards of 20 to 22 miles per gallon on the freeway, and I think they probably got like 10 to 14 in the city. That's what my van gets, okay? So they basically were the only RVs I can think of that got that kind of mileage. And as you can get a truck that gets that, but once you put a truck camper on the top of it or tow something behind it, now your mileage goes down to like 10 or 12. There are some newer pickups or whatever that might be able to get better mileage, or if you get a diesel or something like that. But if you're just talking straight up regular gas vehicles, it ain't happening. So, gas mileage was a big, huge factor in the reason why I chose a van. And if you get a minivan, it's even more so. A minivan could get way more mileage than what I'm getting. So, yeah, that was just a big deal. And even if you took a van, that was, like, say you got like a Ford E350 or whatever cargo van, and you paired it next to a Ford E350 Class C RV, they have the exact same drivetrain, the exact same everything, and guess what? The cargo van's going to get way better mileage than the big, huge, fat RV, even if the RV is empty with nothing in it. No furniture, no nothing, because that box on the top of it is really going to drag and cause the thing to have to work harder. So it's going to still get less gas mileage than than its counterpart that doesn't have anything on it. So that's my big, huge, reason behind the whole gas mileage thing. I just didn't want to have to pray for 10 miles to the gallon on a good day with a backwind and somebody pushing, downhill at the same time. I just didn't want to have to do that anymore. I've done it too many times in my life, and, it gets you nowhere, literally. So, yeah, I like having, 12 to 14 in town and at least, 17 to 20 on the freeway. That's pretty nice. Now, that sounds terrible, but when you're driving your house down the road, that's great. That's some of the best gas mileage you could ever ask for. Okay. Number 6 is a good one. It's a security one for anybody who's concerned about this. And I'm talking for men and women both. It's not just for the ladies, but it does make a lady feel a lot better when we're out on the road by ourselves if we could just jump up out of bed and get into the driver's seat really fast whenever we need to. If you're towing something, or if you have a truck camper, it's going to be much harder to get from, oh my gosh, I just got woken up and I got to get the heck out of here, to being on the road. Whereas in my van, I can just get up out of my bed, quite literally walk a few steps, sit down, and turn the key. That's it. And I'm out of there. I don't have to worry, like, if I've been using my truck for the day and I didn't hook it back up to my trailer, whether or not I can, hurry up and hook it up in time and get out of there, because, there could be an emergency situation where you have to leave your house if you're towing a trailer. And so I just didn't like that option. I didn't want that. What if there's a bear outside? At one time I actually had, and I told this before in a video, this story before in a video, that was one of my earlier ones. There was a skunk outside of my van one night, and I'd parked there like earlier and it was fine and everything. And then all of a sudden, I think it was probably about 2:00 in the morning or something. And I woke up to this horrendous stench of skunk, and I'm thinking, oh no. And I'm waiting for it seemed like forever. It probably wasn't that long because I was half asleep. But the skunk just wouldn't go away. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to get out of here. So I get up out of bed and I sit down in the driver's seat and I drive away. Now, had I had to get out of the back of my rig or whatever and then walk outside and get into the driver's seat to drive away, there is a good chance that I would have gotten sprayed and my rig would have gotten sprayed and everything else. But because I didn't have to do that, because I was already on the inside where the driver's seat is and where my keys are, it was easy. All I had to do was just drive away. So there's that. I mean, it's not always going to be some boogeyman or something like that. It could just be something that's freaking annoying and it's in the middle of the night and you don't want to get outside to have to take the chance of getting sprayed by it or whatever. So yeah, number 6 is a big, huge one for me. You don't have to go outside to get on down the road. You can stay inside and go. Number 7 is it kind of goes along with number 6. I just feel safer in a van. Vans are a higher quality material when they're built than the house part of an RV. So if you get in an accident or something like that, it's going to hold up better, and there's a better chance of you, not getting quite as hurt and or surviving an accident in a van, as far as I'm concerned, as compared to an RV. An RV is basically like a building on wheels. A lot of them are built very cheaply so that they can stay light. They don't use just lighter weight materials. A lot of times they use less materials, so you have less of this, integrity, this structural integrity holding it together. Literally, like, you could have brand new RVs that when you drive them more than 35 miles an hour or something like that, they start flopping around. I've had older ones do it too, but that's just because they were rotten in spots. But nowadays, your newer, lighter RVs especially, they are not going to hold up as well in an accident. So I feel a lot safer in a van. As far as, like, if you're out in the middle of the woods and you've got, like, trees and a wind is blowing, you don't know, sometimes maybe a tree branch can fall on your van. And to me, that's safer in a van than an RV, because a van, again, is a higher quality material. I also feel safer in a van because, well, it's harder for a thief to break into, because most of the time, especially if you get a cargo van, especially one that has no windows at all on the sides except for the driver's windows, it's harder for them to break into. An RV has windows all the way around, and their doors are extremely flimsy, and they're very easy for a thief to break into. And thieves are lazy, and they're going to go for the stuff that they think has the most potential for stuff that they can get, or money, or whatever, which is an RV, because it's always got more stuff in it, no matter what you do. Whether you take your valuables or not, there's still going to be more cool stuff in an RV to steal, especially if you live in it full time, than there is in a van. And they know that. So they're going to target an RV first and foremost if you're in a neighborhood where that's happening, which in most cities nowadays, it doesn't matter if it's a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood, there's going to be somebody that's in there looking around. And also a van, and especially if they can figure out that you live in it, they know that there's not going to be much in it. You don't have much in there, otherwise you wouldn't be able to live in there. So you're not as big of a target. And a van, like I say, is harder to break into, and they're going to break into the one that's easier to break into. So there you go. I feel safer in a van. So let's just sum this up, okay? Shall we? Number 1, I wanted a van because of the size. They're easier to park because they're smaller. They're more maneuverable. They have more versatility in places that you can go. They're not as good as a 4x4 when it comes to that, but at least you can go further off-road than you could in an RV. Number 2, I just like vans. They're nice looking. Pretty cool things to drive around. I feel like one of the cool kids when I'm driving a van. Number 3, I wanted to build my own rig. And that's the best way to do it, is just get an empty van and build it yourself. Number 4, vans, as far as I'm concerned, they blend in better than RVs. They're not such an eyesore, or they don't stick out like a sore thumb as much as an RV does in the city especially. Number 5, vans get way better gas mileage. There are exceptions to the rule, but not very often. Vans really do get better gas mileage than an RV would, or a truck towing something, or a truck with a camper on it. A camper shell, that's a whole different story. If you can go that small and live in a camper shell, then you're doing better than all of us. But, you know, for the most part, if you've got a slide-in camper or something like that, or you're towing something, you're not going to get as good of gas mileage in a regular gas truck as a van would. Okay, number 6 is pretty important. Like I say, a van, you can jump out of your bed and walk over to the driver's seat and drive away. So, you know, I call it a pass-through. A van has a really large pass-through, so you can get up to the front cab and make your escape if you need to. Number 7, and I just all around feel safer in a van. I think they're a higher quality material. I think they're going to last longer. I think they're going to hold up better in an accident. And they're harder for a thief to break into. And there again, you have that factor of where you can just jump in your driver's seat and go. So there you go. That's my 7 reasons why I chose a van for my nomadic lifestyle this time. And I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up, commenting, you know, subscribing, whatever the case may be. That's the best thing you can do for any YouTube creator, is just to give them some feedback, some support. Just say, hey, how you doing? Ring that bell if you like me, because then, you know, when I come up with more of this stuff, you guys will be the first people to know because you rang the bell. Just make sure you push the all button so that you get all my videos if you like them all. If not, just personalize them. If all you want to watch are my 7 reasons videos, then you'll get notified when those come out too. You just have to tell it that, I guess. I've never tried that, so I don't know. I always push all for all of my favorite YouTubers, so I don't know. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got something out of this. If you did, like I said, hit that thumbs up, and we'll talk to you later. All right, bye.